What's up, guys? This is Showtime's Fight Forum, and obviously I'm your boy Showtime. Please follow me on social medias at Showtime Sanders. Thank you for watching. Please watch the whole video. Today's episode is going to be about PFL. All right, so it's not about UFC. I know I talk so much about UFC, so this time I'm going to spice it up and talk about PFL. Granted, this year while I've had my show, they haven't had any events. This week will be their first event, and boy, it's a doozy, and I'm excited. But before we go into their actual card this week, I do want to bring up, to me, their biggest news and their best news, which is Claressa Shields. All right, the self-proclaimed GOAT. All right, greatest woman of all time when it comes to this boxing ish. I wouldn't necessarily give her that title yet. She's only been 11 fights in. She's still 26, got a long way to go. But she definitely has the potential to be the greatest of all time. I love Claressa, man. I love that girl, and I wish her nothing but success. But the big news is that she obviously transitioning from not just being a boxer, but she's trying to be a two-sport athlete and go to boxing to MMA, which is a very, very tough transition, especially if you've been boxing your whole freaking life like she has. Let me just go ahead, for people who may not know that much about her. Let me just go ahead and say she's 11-0 as a boxer. She has 2 KOs, 9 decisions. She just defended her belt in March, mind you, and she's gonna fight in June. Which, once again, it's crazy, but hey, at the end of the day, she's a savage, so it's really dope. She's 77-1 as an amateur, which means if you combine everything, she's 88-1 as a combat athlete. What? Like, this girl's special. So now she's transitioning and she finally got a fight book. She's fighting Brittany Elkins June 10th in PFL. And PFL, man, they've honestly been great with their signings. They already have Kayla Harrison, who's the lightweight champion, who's I think 11-0, who's been dominating everybody, judo gold medalist. I mean, the lady's phenomenal. They signed Anthony Pettis, who's fighting this week. I mean, they have Lance Palmer. I mean, they have very, very solid fighters. So I'm very excited for it. And they also have a contract with ESPN, so you can watch their fights on ESPN or ESPN2, which is also, once again, it's frequent and it's dope. But yeah, but back to Claressa. Yeah, so she's making this transition, and we've seen videos of her fighting and training at Jackson Winklejohn, which is one of the best MMA training spots in the world. And she's learning how to kick and learning how to wrestle, defend takedowns. And I mean, we even have video evidence right over here. And I mean, the girl was looking good for a person that was just learning. Who knows how much she has already developed her skills. I'm excited to find out. She has potential to be phenomenal because she's a great athlete. I mean, she's so young. She's only 26 years old. So she has plenty of room to grow as a wrestler and as a kickboxer. I do hope that it doesn't mess up her boxing career, learning new styles and stuff, because that could happen. But she's been doing this her whole life, so she should be good. But when it comes to the MMA game, we obviously going to see how can she, stop the kicks. Even though I don't think that's even going to matter. I don't think anybody's going to really try to stand with her. I think most people are going to be smart and just try to take her down. But who knows how her takedowns defense is going to be? Is she going to be a Jose Aldo who can develop takedown defense very easily and honestly have one of the greatest takedown defenses ever? Or is she gonna be like a Diaz brothers where their wrestling is just not good and they don't care? So we'll see. But yeah, I'm very excited. I love Claressa's attitude just for the simple fact that she's not disrespecting MMA. Where she's not like James Toney that say, "Oh, I could beat any of these dudes," and not train nothing and just say, "I'm just a better boxer and I could just outbox you guys." No, she's saying, "I have a long way to go and I have to learn the game. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to be better." I welcome. Come on in, because there's nothing but big fights for her. She's a bigger girl, so she's not gonna be able to fight at like 135 or nothing. But there are fights at 155. She could fight Kayla Harrison, which would be a mega fight, especially if they're both undefeated and Claressa can get some wins. But who knows? Maybe she can possibly drop down to 145, and she could drop down to 145. Who knows? Maybe Amanda Nunes can be there. It's possible. I mean, Amanda's still young, and we all know Claressa's young, so that makes it interesting. But like I said, pay respects. I wish you nothing but the best, Claressa, and I hope you do watch this because I'm actually a big fan of you as a boxer, and I know you got another boxing match booked. You a busy girl, so hey, get them coins, sister. I get it. But back to PFL. PFL 1 is this week. The main event is going to be Anthony Pettis, a former UFC vet, UFC champion, honestly a possible Hall of Famer. And then you have Clay Collard, who also fought in the UFC. He just was nowhere near as successful as Anthony Pettis. That's going to be a very, very fun fight. One thing, if you have never seen Clay Collard fight, watch him fight. One thing he's not is boring. He's going to go smack in your face. He will get punched in the face, which is why he loses a lot. But the boy also delivers a lot of punishment. And he also went pro boxing route. He had some success, but he also got beat on a few times as well. And I mean, like I said, the guy he's a fighter. He's a fighter's fighter. But to be honest as well, that's a tailor-made fight for Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis should beat the hell out of this dude. Anthony Pettis is a shell of his former self. He's no longer Showtime Pettis. He is still a good fighter, though. He is on a 2-fight win streak. He did beat Donald Cerrone, who's also, a shell of his former self. But he's still dangerous. He's still Anthony Pettis, man. So, I mean, it's a tailor-made fight for him to win, and he should win. But it's very possible Clay can honestly be aggressive. One thing Anthony Pettis does not do well with is people that are very aggressive in your face. He does struggle with that. Clay's going to be that way. But I do think that Clay takes too much damage. And I think Anthony Pettis does have enough power to sleep him. So that's how I kind of see that going. I think it's going to be a second-round stoppage. I don't know if it's going to be a body kick or if it's going to be a head kick. But I do think it's going to be a kick to the head or body that's going to completely sleep Clay Collard. But the one fight that I do want to talk about, which is crazy because it's the first fight of the main card, and honestly, it very well could be the main event outside. Like if it wasn't for Anthony Pettis being Anthony Pettis, on paper, I would say this is the main event for me, which is Lance Palmer fighting Bubba Jenkins. Lance Palmer is pretty much the face of PFL. I mean, the guy's a dog. He's on an 11-fight win streak. The guy's amazing, man. He's a great wrestler. He came out of Ohio State University. He was a second place in the national tournament, and he's been dominant in PFL. Once again, he's the face in PFL, the dominant wrestler. But now he's fighting somebody who's a better wrestler than he is, in Bubba Jenkins, who has an up and down career as far as his MMA career goes, but he's had a lot of success. He's obviously one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's a great, phenomenal wrestler. He's so athletic. He does have issues as far as his cardio goes, where he doesn't really last all 3 rounds with the same amount of energy. But who knows? He hasn't fought in 2 years. Lance Palmer hasn't fought in 2 years. We'll see how that goes. But normally when Bubba can't dictate in the wrestling, he normally struggles. But I mean, the same could be said for Lance. So I mean, we both know that wrestling is going to pretty much cancel each other out. I don't see neither one of them going for takedowns. I think this is going to be a stand-up battle, and I love those kind of battles. So we'll see who has the more technical game. I'm going to go just off the strength and say that I think that Bubba's going to come in and upset and actually surprise some folks and win. I think that he's going to have more power in the shots. I think that he'll actually be able to hurt Lance and be able to go for the finish. That's not to sit here and say Lance can't, because if Lance isn't the favorite, he should be the favorite, because once again, he's on an 11-fight win streak. He's been dominant, and Bubba's honestly, he's been up and down. But that's my predictions goes, and I do think if Lance wins, he'll probably win by like submission or something. But who knows? Like I said, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. You guys tell me what you think. What do you think about PFL? Do you think PFL actually is going to be able to rival Bellator? Because I personally think that they're well on their way to be able to rival Bellator with a lot of the signings, and they have better matchups because Bellator needs to work on that. But besides the point, like I said, tell me guys what you think about PFL, what you think about Claressa, and all that good stuff. But once again, this is Showtime's Fight Forum. Thank you guys for tuning in.